because usually you can just put this underneath that top cap of the retaining wall, and then that light just sits there and nicely shines down on it. They come in a bronze and a weathered iron finish, which is like a rock face color, so it really matches those. So most people have seen these kind of lights in those hardscapes before, but where they don't see them a lot of times that I love using them for is a different kind of hardscape, whether it be decks and fences and different areas like that. So
Hey Victoria, thanks again for emailing your pictures. I apologize if the sound's not very good. I don't have my microphone. We're actually on site doing a project right now. So again, thanks for being patient, me getting back to you because we haven't had great internet here. We're on a remote island on the west coast of Canada here, so it's been a little tricky, but definitely give you some ideas. And I mean, really where I think I would focus a lot on the house, some of the nice stonework you have, like I talk about in a lot of my videos, a little bit of the landscape, and some second story lighting. On this project that we just did, they had a couple unique peaks on the property that we added just some second story lighting, especially because they had decks and stuff, and we just couldn't get lighting on the base, and it really, really made things stand out. So I will recommend that here. So what I would do is primarily you're just going to want to use, I'll just point this out since I'm here, is this gutter mount, and I'll show you how we use that for that second story lighting. And then primarily a lot of your areas of your house, you're just going to use a standard uplight like this with one change. A couple areas in the back I might talk about where you might want to increase the brightness of the bulb to a 35 watt equivalent, so a little bit brighter, and we can help you with customizing a kit and everything too based on the ideas you like. So you don't have to worry too much about doing all this unless you want to, but we can definitely help you with that as well. But what I would do is with that uplight that I just showed you, I would probably try and highlight this little section of the house by getting two of those kind of on both sides of the window that kind of highlight this front entrance or this front peak here. The key is not to bring them too far back, but get them relatively close to the house, maybe 18, 24 inches back, and kind of have them shining straight up. What's nice too is any landscape that's in front of that, you kind of get some silhouetting of that against the backlit house. And then what I would do with a couple of these shrubs and trees that are in the front, I would use a wash light. I like using a wash light in areas like that because it's not quite as bright, not quite as intense, and it's really good for low-lying shrubs, and it brings in another level of light because it's not as bright and intense, so it does a really nice job of just gently lighting this area. If you kind of had three of those and then you have this backlit, I would probably try and get another uplight on the base of this tree shining up, so that one kind of sticks out. And then I might look at doing like maybe two of those wash lights just along these shrubs here, just to kind of round out your viewing angle from this side. And then I can't see the picture real good, but I would probably keep that same theme because it's going to match with the whole house. But where you use those uplights, where I would probably try and get one kind of underneath this window that's shining kind of straight up so that you're just getting the texture of the stonework, and I would probably do the same under this peak here so it kind of makes those stand out. And then the next thing I would do is I would focus on the second level peaks. Now this is where I would use that gutter mount that I just talked about, and the way we do that is that gutter mount just fits right in the gutter. It just screws to the screws to the back, and then the fixture just mounts right in there. So then again, using that standard uplight, what I would do is it's actually quite easy to get the wire there too, because you can usually just run it up the downspout wherever that is and across the gutters. All the connections are waterproof, so you can just make your connections right in the gutter. And then I would use those gutter mounts, and I would mount one here, here, and here. And a real key to that is not shine it at the window, but more shine it more upright, so it's just really highlighting the peaks. I would have three of those there, and then I would have another one over here that again is just kind of shining and getting this peak up top here, and I'd probably try and mount one somewhere over in this corner that's kind of getting this section as well. And if you did that, it would really make it stand out. Then you have consistent lighting of the house and the peaks all across the front. Going in the back, it really depends. You could totally keep that same theme with kind of lighting, backlighting the house. I mean, I still think it looks good as you're sitting out in this area and you're looking back to have those uplights, kind of one here and one here that kind of uplights the house this way, and then maybe have three of those across the back of the house like this that are again fairly close to shining up. You just want to create some subtle light just to kind of make it stand out. You don't need to go overboard with them. And then you talked about kind of putting like a, I don't know, be a pergola or something over top of this. If you want to create a little bit of subtle light in there, I mean, one light that I really like using is just these hanging lights that just gently hang down from the top of your pergola or whatever. You might put 2 or 3 of those in there and it just gives you a really, really nice ambient light. And the only other light I'll talk about is this guy here. It's typically for hardscapes like retaining walls and stuff, but you can get this in a brown finish that we use a ton on wood structures. So what I might do for kind of your stair areas, I might try and mount one of those kind of underneath this ledge a little bit. You might just need to run a little bit of wire up the side here, mount that right here, and then it kind of lights up this whole area underneath as well as the steps. And it looks really good because then if you have the house lit with those 5 up lights, and you're gonna have a bit of a dark spot here, but by having that light, it kind of lights up that a little bit, as well as functional because it lights the stairs and underneath a little bit. And then you have a little bit of pergola lighting in here. And then you obviously have lots of great trees on the property. Something I can't see in these pictures, but you might want to think about is something we call perimeter lighting, where you take those up lights, and if they are larger trees, you might want to use something a little bit brighter. But just placing a couple of those on some large trees around the perimeter of the property here, so that as you're looking out, what it does is it makes the property look bigger, because now instead of just looking out into dark space, you kind of have a bit of a perimeter of trees that are lit that kind of show where the property is. And it's a really good way of making the property just stand out and make look a little bit bigger. So hopefully that gives you some decent ideas to work with. If you have any questions, Victoria, let me know. If you need help customizing a kit, just kind of let us know roughly how many of those lights you like, what ideas you like, and we can put something together for you. And yeah, thanks again.
Hey guys, so I just want to show you, we're going to use our accent light a whole bunch in this property. And a lot of common areas we're going to use that is on some nice trees. We got a really nice tree here that we're going to try and focus on. But one thing I see people do too often, or more times than not, is instead of trying to get that light nice and close to the tree and having it shine up, so you're taking advantage of all the barking structure and then all the branching up top, is they'll bring it far back and try and aim it at the tree. And what happens there is they tend to miss a lot of the lower portions of the trees. And then also when it's you know, depending on the area you live in, if you start losing a lot of foliage in the wintertime, then having that light shine at all the foliage is kind of a waste of time, and you lose a lot of the effect of that light. That's why I like having it closer to the tree. You know, here we're maybe 12, 14, 18 inches away from the base, and we're going to have it shooting almost straight up because I want to highlight all this trunking and branching structure as possible, as well as now we're getting that light up into the foliage and into the canopy. So again, with our standard RS uplight from FX Luminaire, there's lots of other good ones out there. I like this guy because it's a real workhorse, and that's what we're going to use on this project. Hey guys, so this is our hardscape light. This is actually a new one from FX Luminaire that we're going to be moving over to because it's a little bit smaller and a little more compact than the LF wall light that we've used. But this is a great hardscape light for so many different areas. On retaining walls, it works really well because you can see they have this metal plate here. That's nice because usually you can just put this underneath that top cap of the retaining wall, and then that light just sits there and nicely shines down on it. They come in a bronze and a weathered iron finish, which is like a rock face color, so it really matches those. So most people have seen these kind of lights in those hardscapes before, but where they don't see them a lot of times, that I love using them for, is a different kind of hardscape, whether it be decks and fences and different areas like that. So on this project, we've got a couple uplights lighting our columns on both sides, and then this is going to become all a bed down below. So what we're going to use is we're going to use our hardscape light underneath the deck here that's going to cast light down into our flower bed area. Now there's a couple ways you can go and mount that. You can basically just screw it to the underside here, and that'll hold. And the nice thing is, because it's such a small compact light, it stays very well hidden. The other thing though, sometimes you don't always have a big lip like this, so you need to mount it under a very small narrow area, for example like in a fence. So what you can do is this plate also comes off. So now if we take that plate off, all of a sudden we have a super small, super compact light here. It's less than 5 inches long and is less than an inch thick. So that's why we use these a lot of times on fences that have just a little lip that's maybe an inch or more, because then you can just screw it right to the top. And where I just unscrewed those holes, now I can go and I can actually just mount it directly to the underside of whatever lip I'm using. So again, it's less than an inch. It's about 3/4, just over 3/4 of an inch. So as long as you have that little bit of lip, you can go and you can use this light. And then if I'm using it on those areas, what I'll typically go do with the wire is I'll just go staple it underneath in the corners, whatever it might be. I would show you that, but my wife broke my stapler, so I got to go get a new one. But just hiding those wires, super simple. With a staple gun is probably the easiest way. Obviously, don't put the staples through the wire, but the wire is so thin that you can usually just staple it up there. But I love this light in so many areas. Here, we're going to use it to light the bed down below by mounting it to the underside of our deck. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys got some great do-it-yourself landscape lighting tips. Now, please be sure to go to our website at lightingdoctor.ca and check out our how-to page. It's full of great resources, from our podcast to our video to our most frequently asked questions. And also check out our Try It Before You Buy It light, where you can actually go now and get one of our premium quality uplights and a King Innovation Instalight, which is basically a battery pack now that allows you to go and run those lights and test them out on your property. Try it for 14 days. If you don't love it, send it back to us and we'll give you a full refund. And if not, you keep the light at a discounted rate and go and buy what you need for your project. So thanks again for watching. Please be sure to leave us a comment. We'd love your feedback. Have a great day.